Alongside Brent Hubbs, I'm Austin Price. Tennessee victorious on opening night for this 2021 season, 38-6, the final score as they beat Bowling Green in what was an ugly game. Tennessee, I thought, ran it well at times. Joe Milton came out of the blocks really good, then kind of stumbled hard after that very successful first quarter.
Well, I think that's the storyline coming out of this is, can they find consistency? Can Joe Milton find consistency? For a quarter, he was really good. Then for 3 quarters, he was pretty poor throwing the football. 1 completion in the second half for 40 yards to Cedric Tillman, who made a great catch in the end zone. I think my biggest takeaway from Joe Milton is he missed some open guys. I think when he goes back and watches the film, I think he will be surprised how many guys they had running open at times that he missed. And he just kind of lost his rhythm and lost his way in the second quarter and never really got it back. And Josh Heupel said, you know what, let's run the football and put up a bunch of yards running the football and go to the house.
Heupel seemed annoyed when people kind of asked him, like, did you think about benching him? And,
sure.
You know, I mean, clearly that's his guy. But once you picked your horse, I don't think it's fair to go yanking him out after 1 game. He's got to try to play his way out of, some of those mistakes that he did make.
Well, I mean, the game wasn't in doubt. They weren't going to lose. Okay, so you don't bench that guy and let him play through it and let him try to manage the game better and get things to build and learn from. And obviously, there's plenty there. And I mean, I thought he would play better. Okay, particularly given the way he started the game, I thought he would play better. But I think there's a lot of things in the passing game, and I think that's what Josh Heupel was trying to say in the postgame was, yes, the quarterback did some things poorly, but it's not all just on the quarterback. Some of the protection issues up front they had. I don't think the receivers did a great job of getting open at times. I don't think they played really well in finding holes in the zone at times. There's a million things for this offense to work on in the passing game. A million.
Well, most importantly, what they want him to look at and what everyone else watching the game thinks he ought to be looking at can be 2 totally different things within the framework of the offense. Running the ball, I thought they ran it really well. Jabari Smalls, 116. Tyon Evans, 116 on the ground. I mean, like, both those guys ran hard, and, Tennessee clearly realized, hey, let's just keep this thing on the ground in the second half, and they had success.
Well, they did, and tempo played a factor. I think it wore Bowling Green down some, and they obviously committed to running the football in the third quarter and in the second half. The second quarter just was odd. I mean, what do you have, 8 snaps in the whole quarter?
Yeah, bad football coupled with no possessions.
I mean, it just wasn't good. And, defensively they gave up 2 drives, and Bowling Green milked the clock there. Look, I said this in the 10 things. If Tennessee had won 55-3 or they win 38-6, don't get carried away coming out of the night. Don't get all gaga about the run game. That's a bad Bowling Green run defensive team. But at the same time, too, don't walk out here and go, well, they're going to win 2 games, because that's not where you are. Tonight was a litmus test. It was the first test. See where you are. They need to hit some people. There's a million things for this team to learn from. My biggest takeaway was what I thought. I thought the secondary played particularly well, with the exception of a couple of routes. I didn't think they played very well in the second quarter.
Rub routes.
I thought Theo Jackson was good. I thought the run support was good. I thought the defensive lines clearly improved from a year ago. I thought Jeremy Banks in the run game was good. They clearly didn't have a bunch of bust on defense and a lot of confusion. So my bigger takeaway from the positive side was I thought they were pretty solid on defense, and I thought Bowling Green had some pretty good offensive concepts, to be honest with you. A couple of rail routes. They did some nice things that they're better than they were a year ago. Are they great? No. Are they going to win a bunch of games? No. But they did a couple of tricky things that I thought Tennessee adjusted to pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Tennessee, in that same time frame that the offense was sputtering, the defense kind of sputtered a little bit. They hit a few rub routes, got some guys open on a wheel route, made a few plays, but Tennessee never gave up a touchdown. They gave up 2 long field goals. And defensively up front, I thought they were very disruptive. Credit Rodney Garner and his defensive line.
Yeah, again, starting point. This is a starting point for Tennessee. How much they grow from here is the question. That's the storyline of this team at the end of the year. How much better are they in November than they are in the month of September? Obviously, next week the test is going to be much harder. You're not going to line up and run the football for 360 yards or whatever the number finished up being next week against Pittsburgh.
Or if you do, you're in really good shape.
You're in really good shape, but I don't think anybody sees that happening. You got to play better at the quarterback position. You're going to get challenged more physically in the line of scrimmage on the defensive line next week than you were tonight. but this is the starting point. Tennessee took care of business. There were some good things, there were some bad things. It's a typical first game, a lot to grow from, and they must grow. That's the biggest takeaway.
Well, from a loud and noisy Shields Watkins Field, he's Brent Hubbs. I'm Austin Price for the 2-Minute Drill.